Should I stay or should I go now? If I go, there will be trouble. And if I stay, it will be double.
Hey, welcome back to Pagitt Radio on AM950.PagittRadio.com. And we're joined by Carla Barnhill, our advice guru, the one who helps us answer those difficult questions in our lives. Should I do this? Should I do that? But I do want to mention here for people who are still trying to win the book, A Piece of My Mind, interviews that explore the meaning of peace one story at a time. We still don't have a winner of the how many Martin Luther King holidays have we celebrated in this country? How many for the holidays? Not how old was he, not when did he give his speech. Mm-hmm. Lots of different answers. But we want to know what anniversary is this? Which one is this? This is the 5th. This is the 100th. It's between 5 and 100, I'll tell you. And you'll win yourself a copy of the book. So give us a call at 952-946-6205. 952-946-6205. Hey, Carla.
Hey guys.
Hello. Welcome to the 2012 radio show. This is your first time on in the new year, isn't it?
I know. I haven't talked to you guys since last year.
I know it. It has felt like so long. How are things?
Things are good. Things are all good. We had a whole week of school last week, and now we have a day off again.
I know. Isn't it something?
So
I mean, you get
good.
2 weeks off, 5 days of school, 4 days of school.
I know. Pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
The way we like it around here.
Oh, you do? Oh, yes, because your husband teaches.
Oh. No, that was sarcastic.
Oh, it is. Okay. Okay, as I was going to say.
Some of us were happy that last Monday rolled around and are now thinking, really? I got 5 whole days and now everybody's home again.
Yep, one more. A big 3-day weekend for the kids.
Because we weren't tired of each other yet. So we needed one more day to push it over the edge. Anywho.
Carla, did you make any resolutions? Are you a resolver?
I am not a resolver. I mean, I sort of am. I always kind of get caught up in the hype and think, okay, this is the year, and then I remember who I am, and I stop.
Stop beating yourself up, right?
Yeah. But, that is a little bit what we're going to talk about today.
Oh.
Because here's something that I have been struck by. I am sort of at I'm in the middle of my life here, and so I'm having what, I don't know that it's a crisis necessarily, but I am sort of trying to frame the next half of my life a little bit.
And best case scenario, you and I and John are in the middle of our lives. Like if things go really great, this is the halfway point.
We got another 45 ahead of us.
Oh my, you guys are totally bringing me down.
Mm-hmm. I know. So best case. But I come from long-lived people, so I feel good about it. I feel like the odds are in my favor here.
I don't think I budgeted my first 45 well.
Yeah, right.
No, right. So that's why I'm kind of thinking, gosh, that went fast.
Mm-hmm.
I need to step it up a little bit here if I'm going to make something out of the rest of it. So anyway, instead of so what I want to talk about today is this idea of a life list, because this is what I've been sort of ruminating about. Instead of resolutions that are probably over by now. Here in the 15th day of January, most of us have probably already blown those. But so I've been reading a lot and thinking a lot and doing a lot of kind of noodling on this idea of a life list. This is not my idea. This is an old idea a lot of people talk about. It's kind of like a bucket list, I guess, but I think that sounds dumb. So I'm not going to arrange my life around a Jack Nicholson movie. No matter how. Yeah, right. So instead I like
unless
this idea
it's
of a
Easy
life
Rider.
Right, or One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Yeah, right.
I'm all about throwing water fountains out a window. Yeah. Someday
but not that movie.
Around here, but not that one. No. All right. So anyway, this idea of the life list, and so for people who don't know what that is, in some ways it is this bucket list. It's sort of a list of things. It can be 10 things. It can be 100 things. It can be 120 things. It can be, 47. I don't care. It doesn't
Could it
matter.
be 29 things? And that's a hint toward the A Piece of My Mind book giveaway for how many Martin Luther King days there have been?
It could be 29 things.
Could even be 29 things. 946-6205 and the 952 code.
It could be any number. So it's a list of things that you sort of want to experience in your life. Not accomplish, not do.
Nice.
But experience. So you make up this list, but before you make it, it takes a little bit of thinking. Like one of my favorites, there's a blogger called The Mighty Girl, who I really enjoy reading, and I recommend people head over to her website. But she has.
Does she spell girl G-U-R-R-R-L?
No.
Okay.
G-I-R-L, like normal. Anyway, and so it's The Mighty Girl, and so she has a life list with 100 things on it, and it's everything from learn how to scuba dive to visit Tuscany, to figure out how to shop more efficiently. Yeah, I mean, it's a range of big things and little things. Buy boots that fit, stuff like that.
Really meaningful things.
Yeah, meaningful things, but kind of just a collection of, big things like I really want to do that someday, to things I can kind of accomplish in the next 24 hours, to, so she's got kind of an interesting collection of things. So if somebody's kind of thinking, what is this life list thing? I suggest heading over to the Mighty Girl, and she's got a whole category just about the life list. And just taking a look, and it'll get you kind of thinking about what it is I'm talking about.
What a great idea!
I'm on it right now. Yes. Okay. She writes it in some funny ways.
She's a wonderful writer. Yep, she's really great. Got lots of great ideas. She's real creative and everything. People will enjoy her. Okay, but here's what I think you need to do before you really sit down and start writing anything on your list. I think you need to make sure there are 3 things going on with your list.
All right.
Okay. So the first is you need to have a sense of purpose for this list. What is this list for? Why are you doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so don't just sit down and start writing it. That's a way to fail. So start by asking yourself, why do I want to make a list like this? Maybe you don't. Maybe that doesn't appeal to you. But when I say that, it kind of sparks something in you. Start asking yourself why, and think about that for a while. Like, it may take you a few days or weeks to kind of suss out why it is you think that has struck a chord in you. So, figure out, okay, is it a way to motivate yourself to kind of do some things? Is it a way to find some meaning in your life? Is it a way to impress other people? What is it that you want from this list? What is it you want it to help you do? And once you kind of have a sense of that, that's a good way to sort of start yourself out. And the Mighty Girl, one of the questions that she asked herself that I think is really intriguing is she asked herself, how do I want to feel?
Oh.
And so she started to kind of, and she writes about this, I'm stealing this right off of her website, but she writes about how she really wanted to feel peaceful. So she figured out, okay, what does peaceful feel like to me? It feels like this, it feels like that, it feels like this. And so now she sort of has this filter for, like, I'm not putting anything on the list unless it makes me feel peaceful. So she has this sort of sense of purpose for that list and a sense of what she wants those things to help her feel like. What were you going to say, John?
Oh, well, I was going to try to pimp the book, A Piece of My Mind, because that was part of the theme, is that they asked these 51 people, what does peace mean to you?
Yeah, interesting, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which, if you called and told us number 29, you might win a copy of the book at 952-946-6205 to not be overly
Or if you just drive by the station slowly and yell it out your roll-down window.
We'll
chuck one at you.
Yeah.
Okay, so on the list of putting together a list, what's your purpose?
What's your purpose? Then the second thing to keep in mind as you're making this list, as you start to write things down, is to be honest about it. You kind of need to have this realistic and romantic balance going on, but it'll be a useless list if it's stuff that you'll never do. So you want it to be kind of things you genuinely want to do, things you genuinely want to experience or feel or have your life be about. But it has to be realistic enough that it'll actually happen. Like, it might take a little effort to make it happen. Like, maybe you want to learn Taekwondo. Okay, well, that's going to take some effort, but that's different than saying you want to be a martial arts expert. Like, be specific about it. Be honest about it. Again, you might say, like, some people might put, well, I really want to climb Mount Everest. Well, you know what? Most people will never do that.
Right, yeah.
Right? So maybe it's more realistic to say, I'd really like to see Mount McKinley one day. Then you can sort of start to figure out how to make that happen. That's a much more kind of realistic yet still romantic. It's honest about who you are and what your life is about, what your resources are, what kind of time and commitment level you have to making these things happen.
Someone ought to provide a service of being like the tamp down friend. When you come up with these things, they're like, look, why don't you just drive by a mountain and look at it? That's much more you.
Right.
I know, but yeah, exactly.
Everyone needs a killjoy.
If you're already an elite climber and it is realistic for you to someday say, I really could climb Mount Everest. Here's what I know it'll take for me to make that happen. But in 10 years, I can see myself doing that. Then write it down. Knock yourself out. But if you're me and you can't even get up the wall at REI, then maybe that's not a realistic goal for me. And really, why would I want to do that? Like, that's not something that appeals to me. So it's not.
Right. If there's no indication of anything in your life that has ever led you to that, even though it pops into the cultural meme of what meaningful lists should have, it's not you. Don't do it if it's not you.
Exactly. If it's not you, don't do it. If you know in your heart of hearts, I'll never make that happen, don't do
Yeah.
it. Then the last thing, so you need to know the purpose, you need to be honest, and then the
PhD.
third one, the third one is really to have some intention, to like, this for me is the reason why I do this. This is my purpose. I want my life to be about something. Okay, so, but at the same time, you need to sort of have this balance, again, between personal happiness
Right.
and a recognition that the world needs you. Right? So the intention of this list is not to be all about you and not to be this really self-centered kind of, here's what I'm going to do to make me happy, and the rest of you, forget about it.
I love it.
Like, at the same time, the intention of this list is so it's not to just kind of help you focus only on yourself. So the other thing to think about as you're making this list, and this is based on something else that I just read recently,
I like it.
is this idea, thank you, is that that happiness is, we really aren't very happy unless we stop thinking about our own happiness. Like the people who are kind of most content, right? The people who are most content in the world tend to be people who have stopped thinking about how to be content. Like they just have figured out what does the world need from me, and they go and do it, and all of a sudden they find this deep sense of purpose and meaning in life, and they find themselves feeling content.
If you're watching on the website right now, Doug is just totally giving me like, are you listening to this, Sean?
Yeah, I'm giving you that knowing look right now.
Like that's what I've been saying.
And
But here,
I'm nodding. I'm like,
I
she's
told you people
talking.
talk like this.
She's talking to you, John.
No, yeah, no. It was like, I support what Carla says. John, you need to swallow it.
John, yes, because, and there's something about that, right? That you're, because most people I know, and even people I haven't met, I'm assuming, are good people who want there to be something significant from their life, and you're going to find meaning by pursuing goodness and contribution to others as well as caring for your own needs.
Right. And so one of the kind of litmus tests for these items that you might put on your list is, what if you couldn't tell anybody about it? Would you still want to do it?
Love it. Private
Yeah.
list.
Yeah. If you couldn't tell anybody you did that, would you still do it?
A special unspoken.
Right. And so, this is where you kind of go back again to the purpose, to the honesty, and this intention piece. It's like, what are the things when I read about other people doing them, or I read about this problem in the world, or I think about that, what are the things where I find myself stirred, where I find myself like, boy, I really want to read that, or I really want to think about that, or boy, I'd like to know more about that. And what are those, even if you never do, you can pull back enough to go, what tends to stir get my juices flowing a little bit? That's a hint.
And
that
you
those
stick
are
it
things
in a
that are gonna
manila
help
folder, and you say, no one
Right.
else can read this until my funeral.
Exactly.
Would you still have those things on that
You
list?
still have those things on your list. Yep.
Hey, that is Carla Barnhill. She's our advice guru around here, and she says, hey, make a list for your life. Ask yourself when you're putting together a list of things that want to help frame the decisions you make in your life. Why do you do that? Can you be honest about it? What are your real intentions for it? And then have a partner in your life for the kinds of decisions that you're making. Carla, thanks a lot.
You're welcome, fellers.
Hey, we're gonna be back. We're gonna be back here with the Right On after the break, the MLK edition, the Milk edition. Doug Badger Radio on AM 950, DougBadgerRadio.com.